Welcome to the London Property Podcast, your go-to source for navigating the complex and ever-changing London real estate market. Our digital marketplace provides informative and educational content from industry leaders through podcasts and videos. We cover various aspects of the real estate experience, including buying and selling, finance, law, tax, construction, design, and more. Join us as we delve into the latest trends and developments in the market and gain valuable insights from our panel of experts.
Hello and welcome to London Property. I'm your host Farnaz Fazaipour, and today we're delighted to welcome back to the show Hugo Busby. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So Hugo's wears two hats. He's got a consultancy where he provides insurance valuations and tax valuations, but he also has a fantastic business called Busby Auctions.
Yes.
And Busby Auctions is based out in the countryside, and they honestly provide a one-stop shop for anyone who needs to get rid of content in their property for selling, clearance. So I'm going to pass it on to you to tell us about how it all started.
Well, I started the company Busby Auctions 12 years ago last month, and we've grown year on year. We are a provincial auction house, so we're relatively small, but we operate widely geographically. So we're in London once or twice a month, and Sussex, home counties. Anyway, really anywhere where our services work for the client and also for ourselves. There are various times in life when you might need the services of an auction house or a valuer. In terms of the valuer, you often have to have valuations for insurance purposes, which should sort of be reviewed every 3 years. If a member of the family is to pass away, you have to report on inheritance tax, so you need to value the contents. Less so capital gains tax, and sometimes matrimonial. If there's to be a division of possessions, prices have to be put on those. So there's a valuation element of our business and contents. In terms of sale and disposal, there's a lot more downsizing. Now, I think it's fair to say people are living longer for whatever reason. So they tend to want to move into retirement flats, and we tend to deal with a lot of contents like that. Obviously, some people who remain where they are, there's deceased estates, and we deal with that. Or some people who are just having a change around or don't like a table or whatever, and they want to dispose of it. Now, when you come to dealing with that, it's very easy to deal with portable items like jewellery and whatever, but as it grows, there are various costs, and the largest one is actually transport and movement of goods, which some people tend to ignore till the day. And so we are able to visit properties and arrange that, I think, in a cost-effective way. You might find that certain people you approach to sell things, they want the very best and might leave you with a problem or the lower value items. We'll be holistic in that we have fine art sales, deal with the good items, and then we have monthly what's described as interior and general sales, and that would be the lower value items. And all I would say, because moving items is costly, every little bit helps. So the smaller items that are sold help to defray costs. When it comes to unsaleable items, there's no easy route to disposing of contents, and I think especially in London. And I think it's been proven possible by us that it's actually more cost effective for us to come to London and deal with everything for people and remove it west to the countryside than it would be asking certain people to do the same job for you. It seems to work for us, and we get a lot of work with clients out of that.
So we're talking to you today because we help people manage property wealth, and part of that process is going to be when someone sells a property and it's full of items, to actually help them at that point. And what you're saying is that when different auction houses come in for different things, then the costs are escalating, and what you're going to gain from that sale is going to obviously diminish as well, because you're suddenly paying 3 or 4 different companies instead of one.
Yes, it's a little like that, because if they have to send a vehicle and they're only going away half full, you're going to be paying for that. And then you get somebody else who might have a half full vehicle to remove those items. Whereas if you can be more holistic about the contents, so you send the higher and lower value and possibly the unsaleable item, using one carrier or shipper or removal company will save you money. And the other thing you should always check also, whoever's dealing with the sale of your goods or contents, is how much their charges are, because they will vary considerably from auction house to auction house. So it's only fair to ask.
And would you say that because you're actually out in the countryside where space is a lot more available, would you say that you're finding that from London, people are actually sending the larger items out because of the storage problem that people might have in London?
Well, we've got very large premises, so we can always take in contents. People don't have to hang on to them; they can come in any time. And I think we've proven that we are a competent and affordable option when it comes to selling outside of London. In terms of, we do have a self-storage facility business there. We can also store contents, and I would suggest that we are possibly a fraction of the costs in London. So it depending on the circumstances, but it's the sort of thing we can help and discuss. And I'll frequently visit properties in London or outside of London, and just to decide what's the best way forward and what's the most cost effective. I'm very conscious of saving people money, and every little bit, even if it's lower value items which certain auction houses wouldn't look at, it just helps to defray the costs, even if it covers the cost of shipping, transport.
Yeah.
Rather than, because if they're not taken by an auction house, you then got to say, how do I get rid of this? And I should imagine some people that might offer that service, rather than saying you're giving something we could sell, they're probably going to charge you. And also, I think the costs of disposal are going to be much greater in London.
And are you finding that, we're living in a world where, we're all becoming aware that a lot of waste comes from real estate. So are you noticing that people are much more driven to actually rehouse what they don't need and give it so that it can go to somebody else, either by way of a sale or that it's donated to somewhere? I mean, are you noticing a change in the market from where you are?
I think there's a growing interest in what was generally described brown furniture. That's picking up. I mean, it's so cheap compared to modern furniture that there's a demand for that. And I think people have become increasingly imaginative about, well, I think it's a modern phrase, but repurposing the use of things. Whether if it's a wardrobe, they might buy it for the wood and turn it into shelves and whatever. Lots of clever things happen. It's a bit like church pews. We had some church pews the other day. So yes, I think people, once they become aware of what they can buy at auction, I think a lot of people are being steering themselves towards it.
It's quite satisfying.
Because of quality.
But it's also quite satisfying that,
fun.
you're actually, first of all, a lot of times you get some really good things at auction for a fraction of the cost. And then, as you say, if you repurpose them, you could paint them or do whatever with them. So we are going in the direction of being more sustainable society. It has impacted your business.
Well, you'd like to think that there's such need
Yeah.
in society. You'd like to think you're helping, because we've become very much a throwaway society, really, and it's awful. So if we can get it to an end user,
Yeah.
I think, and the customer gets some money as opposed to nothing, I think that's quite a good result for everyone.
And I think also that transparency that you offer is comforting, because a lot of the time when people are emptying a house, it's quite a stressful situation. It's either followed a death, or they're moving from somewhere that's been their home for decades and decades. So having someone there who's just saying, "Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. I can take care of all of this," is actually really comforting.
We are actually very much a don't worry about it. I mean, we've done it so much.
Yeah.
We can just really deal with the whole process. Yeah, it is. We can just deal with it, and we do our best and try and make it as rewarding for them as possible.
Yes, well, that's why you're here today, because I know that we've had rave reviews for two of the clients that you've taken care of for us. So thank you for that. And I think it's important for our listeners to know that it doesn't have to be daunting, and everything in your house can be removed by one company and then distributed from there, whether it's being sold, whether it's going to a different auction house.
Yeah.
You work with other auction houses as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very happy to visit and discuss this is how I tend to present it, what I would do if I was them.
Yeah.
I can only tell them that. If they want to do something different, that's fine. But I would probably tell them the most cost-effective, simple and straightforward way of dealing with it.
So what's been the most interesting thing that you have sold recently, if you were to think of something that you really found surprising to get and performed really, really well?
Well, we had a stuffed wolf recently that that was unusual, in that it's the first time we've seen that. I think a nice story was we were dealing with a very small property, and there was nothing of value, which can be the case. I mean, as we all know, the resale of certain goods, except there was one Chinese vase that was dated from about the grandparents had bought it in Shanghai in about 1930, and it is in a box. And when I say there's nothing of value apart from this, there really wasn't. And we managed to sell that for 50,000 for the family. So that was a nice surprise for everybody.
Excellent.
But you never know what's coming. You never know what's going to be in a box. I can guarantee if we're ever given a box with costume jewellery, Callum, who deals with jewellery, he'll always find something that's got a higher value than costume, whether it's gold. I mean, we had a bracelet again. We dealt with a clearance I call it a clearance disposal of the goods in the property. And in a box of some other things was a bracelet we sold for 5,000 that had been overlooked. So, yes, it's important to choose the right people when you just hand everything over.
When you're getting rid of things, obviously, when you're in the auction world, then you're much better positioned to know that, okay, well, if you're selling a piano, go to piano auctions. If you're selling this, do that. So are there specialist auction houses that have kind of come up in recent years as a result of this recycling culture?
There are auction houses, some that specialise in things like toys, that kind of thing, or sporting goods. They're very, sports memorabilia, football or anything like that. I mean, we have various specialisms. I suppose one of our main ones, which are often overlooked when people are clearing property, are clothes. We have a clothing sale, so vintage couture, certain labels, handbags, shoes. We've just had a large sale, and we've got another one coming up. I'm in London actually to look at a wardrobe today. So we have that specialism. We've got somebody who's very good at period jewellery. We have somebody who specialises in books, and I mean, most of the areas.
Yeah.
I think we cover competently, whether it's silver, furniture, paintings. We have a sporting sale as well, which is sporting and collectible. I mean, that's more country sports orientated, but in amongst that we'll have toys. So we've got people who understand most areas. And as we grow, we keep adding to that.
You're like a gatekeeper to the solutions, really, aren't you? So for a person who's got a house full of things, they could either go and do it all individually themselves and add to the stress of already moving.
You can spend, people often spend a lot of time, certain people do, and that's up to them, thinking they might sell it on eBay or whatever. But, if you use outlets like that, you often run into problems where it wasn't what you said, it never arrived. At least with the auction process, it's transparent. You get to see your item. It's sold globally to the interested public, and they don't have it till they paid for it, and then it's collected. So, and you can just send everything there and it all gets dealt with, not having to push it around. And again, costs of transport, that's partly why furniture's depressed. You might send it to one auction house because you think it's very good, it'll do very well. Then it doesn't sell. You may have incurred costs. Then you've got to move it somewhere else. So it is important to place it in the place, put it in a place where it's going to get sold and achieve the best. But because we sell on 2 internet platforms, we will reach the same people any other auction house. So from a buyer or a dealer's point of view, they could be sat at home, they could be looking at an auction in Scotland, France, England, all at the same time without having to go there and look. So and so we sell out to China, America, Australia, everywhere.
Yeah. So even though people think that they can cut it up and sell it better, it actually, you're bringing your experience of knowing the chances of selling it there are higher than the chances of selling it here. So you can make those judgment calls for people, really.
I mean, you can't especially make the market, but if something is well presented, well photographed, accurately described, then it should reach all interested parties. I mean, it's just finding people that are competent and will do their best for you.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think we do, because we're a small auction house, and we would deal with all price ranges. I think we work very hard for our clients. Obviously, it's nice to sell a ring worth £40,000 is light and portable, and as opposed to a wardrobe that might only be worth £30 or £40.
Yeah.
But we still put that effort in. We don't just say we're not having it.
Yeah.
We'll solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
and
can
I think
solve
it's important also for our listeners to actually, ask these questions ahead of time so that you don't get disappointed when a wardrobe sells for £30. That, the alternative was that you're going to be shipping it around to places trying to empty your house with nobody wanting to pay more than £30 for it anyway.
We work on the basis when we price things. Some people might raise expectations. You might say, on that basis, I'm going to send it to you. Then it doesn't match the expectations. We try and be very realistic about prices. And if it does better on the day, and things have good days, bad days, then that's a bonus. That's a good result. I was only expecting that, but it sold for twice as much, rather than I was expecting that and it sold for half as much. We try and be realistic. I think it's important. The other thing, really, if you need to clear or dispose of items or sell them, is timing. It's, for example, we can take anything in, but the people who move stuff can often be very, you can't say, I need it tomorrow. That's rare. We have done that for people. We've done it at the weekend, but yes. Time is a good thing.
Yes, and just before we thank you and say goodbye to you, how many auctions do you hold in a year?
We have monthly 2-day sales, which are general and interior. So that might be general household and decorative contents up to a certain value, pictures, paintings, decorative prints. So we have a 2-day sale every month. Then we have 3 fine art sales, which obviously slightly different format and presentation. Then we have about 3 specialist sales, sporting, collectibles, clothing, books, manuscripts.
And you work with bigger London auction houses, so that if they've got something that's not selling with them, it comes to you.
Yeah, we accept where we are in life, and so we might come in between the sort of well, I won't name them, but the larger ones, and there are things that they sadly maybe are not interested in, so we'll come and take care of that. And we're quite happy with that relationship, and sometimes you get some surprises and discoveries that may have been overlooked.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much. As I say, you're here today because we've had rave reviews about your services and what you've done for people who have been members of our platform. So thank you for that, and we look forward to continue talking to you in the future.
Okay. Well, thank you
very much.
Thanks for tuning in to our latest episode of the London Property Podcast. Head over to our website where you can browse our exclusive network of top experts driving the market. As a member, you'll have direct access to our experts and their networks. Our award-winning content will help you choose the right professionals for your needs and make informed decisions about your investments. Personal recommendations are a powerful tool in connecting with trusted professionals. Let us introduce you to the right people to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact us now to learn more about becoming a member and gaining access to these valuable resources, or joining our directory of experts.